happen to you, I'll help you slaughter this thing. In this video, we will be going over how to change. If you listen and do what I tell you, this will go much smoother. Oh, I hear you bitching already. Shut up.
Well, here we are then, right in the belly of the beast. Shh, that's not to disturb it. Oh, what an ugly bugger it is. We're gonna stab it right in its cold black heart. Pack your tools, sunshine. We got work to do. Put jack stands right there on that meaty crossmember that's gonna come down.
WD-40 is your friend. Spray everything I show you. Let it sit for at least 24 hours. It will be night and day difference for you. And snap any one of these bolts, you'll be hating life.
Spray it right in its beady red eyes. See? It likes it.
Break out the Crayolas. It's best if you use 2 different colors. You need to mark these as best you can. You will need an alignment after this. Don't cry to me if you don't and your tires get all chewed up. That's on you. This is the biggest pain in the whole process. The stupid heat shield has rivets in it. It needs to come down. If you got a kit to screw out strip bolts, that works pretty good. I drilled the center of the rivets, then with cutting pliers, I cut their heads right off. After that nonsense, it's clear sailing. Man, this should be a Claritin commercial. Look at all that pollen. Pry the exhaust out of its hangers. Notice I have a jack stand here to support it. Yeah, don't let it just hang there. Next, you can use slip joint pliers to remove the muffler out of the hanger. Now, if you have a helper, it will be much easier for you. But as you can see, I did it by myself. It's just going to take some back and forth maneuvering on your part. The best thing to do is let it rest on your tire like so. This will give you enough clearance for what comes next.
Now position your jacks right under the crossmember with a 2-foot 2x4. Oh, I can hear it already.
The ceiling is 23-inch, a 25-inch 2x4.
Isn't it quite obvious? No! 24 inches!
You can go ahead and start cracking stuff loose, starting with the bolts on the lateral links and the tie rod ends. Start loosening the crossmember bracket bolts and the body mount bolts on both sides. Look how easy everything is cracking loose. Somebody was paying attention to the prep work. If you have an air gun, that will be much quicker. However, I still advise cracking them loose by hand to make sure they're not seized. Because if you snap them off the air gun, it's game over for you. Once they're loose, hit them with the air gun. You're most likely going to have to double wrench the tie rod ends of the lateral links because they spin. This is where a gear wrench comes in handy. Now you can take out the nuts of the adjustment bolts and lower the lateral links. Once we lower the crossmember, you'll be able to get the bolts out. It may be easier to use a gear wrench or a ratchet once loose because of the angle. Once you have the bolts out, lower the crossmember down gently. Don't lower it all the way down, as you'll cause a whole bunch of problems. We were lowering just enough to sneak out the insulators. Now you can remove lateral link bolts. I will show you what it looks like behind there. Here's the new insulators in all their glory. You won't be able to get the air gun in here, but it's not too bad with the large 1/2-inch ratchet or breaker bar. Crack all these bolts loose. See, all that prep work is paying off. Take them out one at a time. Make sure they look the same. The one bolt hole is slightly different, so it can only go that way. Use the dirt that was been collecting up there as a guide to put the new ones back in the same spot. After you got both changed, hand tighten, and torque them both down. Before installing the new lat links, double check to make sure they look right. Give the bolts a quick one over with a wire brush on the threads and the back of the cams. Next, you want to use a little anti-seize on back of the cams. Your alignment tech will thank you. Now you can install the lat links one at a time. Line up your marks you made earlier with the crayons. What do you mean you didn't make the marks? Have you even been listening to me? Line them up the best you can for now. Don't put the ends in yet, because we need access to reattach the crossmember bolts. Do the same for the other side. Slowly jack the crossmember up until you can get the bolt started. Make sure the bolts are straight and start them by hand. This may take some finesse on your part. You can use a large punch or a Phillips head screwdriver to shimmy it where it needs to go. These were really tight going in, so I didn't want any problems. I tightened them by hand. Better be safe than sorry. Once snug, torque these two bolts down. Moving to the front crossmember brackets. It's nice, there's a tang there. Line them up, hand tighten all 4 bolts. You can hit them with the air gun until snug, then torque them down. Make sure the crossmember seats back up correctly while doing this. Now you can pop the lateral link tie rod ends in. Use a pry bar to help you. Sometimes they don't cooperate. You can use a rubber mallet and show it who's boss. Back to this again. Now torque these down. Line up your center bolts and tighten and torque. Slowly, I said slowly. Lower the jack. Make sure everything looks good. Is everything where it should be? Lube up your exhaust hangers again. They go on much easier that way. To get that heat shield back on, I use self-tapping screws. You'll have to jack up the front for this. Look at that, good as new. Most crucial part now, double check everything. Lateral links in place. Got them lined up the best you can. Torque down. Both sides. Insulators look like they're positioned right. The torque down. Crossmember, torque down. Looks like everything's sitting where it was. Exhaust is back in its hangers. Heat shield reattached. Good. Put the wheels back on. Snug up lug nuts by hand. Make sure wheel is seated evenly. Lower just so the wheel touches and torque these bad boys down. Remember, star pattern. Now lower the vehicle. Take a look. Is it sitting level? Give it a few bounces on each side. Let it settle. Take a look at the back. The wheels look straight for the most part. Not sticking in or out. Test drive it for any clunks, bumps, make sure it feels good, and then get it aligned.